So, this is finally it. I've been delaying this thing for weeks, and I just can't believe it. I'm going solo.
Uh-huh.
I didn't imagine that this would come to this point, but I don't know. They say I have an image problem, so I think I have to go out there and reshape my image.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've always depended on my friends to be there, but I think I really need to prove that I can do this solo.
Uh-huh.
You, you know what? Yeah. I can do this solo.
Uh,
I'm going to I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to show them that I can do a podcast by myself.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? It'll be darn good.
Uh-huh.
This has been really helpful. Thank you, doctor.
Daughter.
Huh?
I'm your daughter.
Oh. Oh. That is kind of weird. I'm gonna go record now.
Oh, Dad,
Yeah?
you owe me $40.
Do you take check? Hello, and thanks for downloading another episode of the Palaver Project. I'm Michael Rivera, and this is an unscripted conversational podcast where words are never wasted, no matter how aimless, pointless, or random they may seem to be. A huge thank you to all those who downloaded last week's podcasts, and to all who gave feedback. I appreciate the honesty in every comment, guys. You are the motivation to improve and continue creating quality content. And that's what I'm going to strive for. Creating quality content that you and me can be proud of. Speaking of pride, it's Pride Month in the United States right now. June is designated Pride Month, and as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots that ignited a civil rights movement for the LGBT community, I thought it would be apropos that I would sit down and talk to someone close to me that is living in this progressive age and relishing in the rewards of decades of fighting for equality. My nephew, Jose Antonio Rivera, Jr., I call him Junior, he's openly gay, and until now we hadn't really sat down and just had a conversation about it. For a long time, it went unsaid in the family to avoid making any trouble for him. My oldest brother, his father, wasn't the easiest guy to give him this to talk to. Was very reserved. Had a very hard exterior. He was a difficult taskmaster, and nobody knows it more than his kids, especially Junior. And so for a long time we went in, we didn't want to make any trouble for him. So I mean, that's such as it is with many other families around the world. I mean, we're breaking that today. And I hope this conversation gives you the courage to open up with your loved ones, to sit down and just talk with them about what they're going through and what they've gone through. Join the Palaver on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's build towards inclusion, tolerance, and compassion together. By joining the Palaver, make this an open discussion, guys. If you like what you hear from this episode, please let us know. Your feedback, whether negative or positive, does shape this show. You do have an effect on the content of the show. So please, let me know what you think about this episode, and well, enjoy the talk, and I'll be back after the break. A Game Boy Advance. It looks straight out of the box. My God, look at this thing, dude. So you got this from Japan?
Yeah.
It looks cool. It looks cool. But they didn't have the SPs though?
They did have the SPs, but the reason why I wanted the Game Boy Advance was just that classic feel.
It is a great handheld feel because the SPs they're they're like square little.
Yeah, flat. I mean, it's good, but the grip of it is it's awesome.
Feels like a cosmetics mirror, kind of opening it up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, but this one's like actually like a handheld because this goes around the same route as like for people now, a PS Vita, or a Game Gear. But those two are like super huge. This is like really compact.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Sega Game Gear. Woo!
That was back in the day.
That's a classic.
That was a classic.
Sega
And
Nomad.
this is a classic. I'm here with Jose Antonio Rivera Jr.
Yes.
Junior,
the second.
Junior. But do you go by Junior? I mean, within the family circle, you are known as Junior.
Yes.
But what do you go by out here in the streets?
Out here in the streets
of San Diego.
I go by Tony.
Tony.
Yes, I go by my middle name cut. So Antonio to Tony. There are a few people who call me Junior. Just a few, like family, cousins, and one friend.
Only one in the friend circle. Okay.
Calls me Junior. Yes.
Yeah, you let him get away with it.
I do. I let her get away with it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. I mean, why Tony though? Why Tony over Junior? It just sounds more your own name.
Well, this is a funny story. Back when I was in middle school and just elementary school, I don't know, Jose. I always went by Jose, and it just didn't really feel like the type of person that I was. Like, I don't know, Jose just doesn't go with my personality, my aura, I felt like, and it just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of weird. It just always felt like my name didn't really go with the type of person that I was, it felt like, because all these Jose's that I knew were very like my dad, very macho, and just different type of men that I was. So in middle school, I actually like changed it without like my parents. I just told like all my teachers that I never went by my first name, that I went by Tony. And so I just kind of like created it myself, and then I've always gone to by Tony like everywhere else outside of like that.
Do you consider that one of your first steps in kind of creating your own like individual persona?
Yeah, definitely. My identity, I felt like, was always like, I don't know, it was weird. Yeah, that was one thing that definitely like stuck with me, because I go by Tony, like on social media, and like my Facebook is Tony Rivera, all that stuff is, I go by Tony. So I do feel like I created that kind of in my own way, because the family doesn't call me Tony, and they know I go by Tony, but nobody ever calls me it.
No, we like the hierarchy of things, like, so there's, your dad being Jose Antonio Rivera, the first Jose Antonio Rivera, you being Junior. I mean, it's just kind of it's a bloodline thing. I don't think it's so much just. I think kind of like a habit too.
Yeah. I'll be Junior forever. I
think you're gonna be Junior forever, but it's a term of, it's a name of endearment within the family circle, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like it. I don't mind it at all.
Right. But outside though, you are Tony.
Yeah,
you are Tony.
I would definitely say I'm Tony.
What are the other things during like the same time period that you were starting to kind of like create under your own, like saying this is you?
Yeah.
Like what steps were you taking to individualize yourself?
Well, if we're going back to that time, that was like middle school, and that was back when my parents were barely kind of separating, and in that time period, I was kind of like I was telling my parents, I don't know, it was a different time. My parents seemed to kind of like listen a lot more at that time period.
Uh-huh.
So I was just telling them kind of like how I wanted to dress and how I wanted to be different, and my mom kind of like said yes, and my dad kind of said no at that time. So I kind of started dressing a certain way, like Vans and skinny jeans and little t-shirts back then, and
Right.
back then, yeah.
Right. It kind of had like a skater look in a way, kind of with the Vans.
Yeah, I like tried. I was just, back then you're just like figuring out.
Yeah, teenage years is always like an amalgamation of different looks you're trying to go through.
Yeah, my fashion sense back then was one thing that I was very like self-conscious about, because my dad was one of those fathers who picked out our clothes. So he picked out what Raymond and Lizette and what I wore, and it was always kind of like Adidas shoes and long socks. Kind of looked like a cholo. Long, oversized clothes and
Right.
shaved head. So it was a different look than how I felt on the inside. So middle school was different because in that time, I kind of got that freedom to kind of do what I wanted. My parents were kind of like busy with each other and kind of like trying to be busy with us, but at the same time I was kind of doing other stuff and trying to figure out other things and just trying to, yeah, it was crazy back then. Back then I would oh my god, I don't think I've ever actually said this, but I would like pack a certain outfit. Like I would leave the house wearing what my dad wanted and then have an outfit and change at school before anyone saw me, and then
Right.
and then go out, and be like how I wanted to be during school, which is all crazy or whatever back then.
Did your dad ever find out? Did he ever like discover what you were doing?
They had like an idea, because one time one of my friends, like I had left like my cool jeans with her, and it was one of my friends who lived by me, so she like left them in front of our house and I forgot to get them. And so they were like, what are these jeans doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And they kind of had an idea, but they didn't. But no, they didn't officially ever know that.
No.
Yeah. It was weird. It was just different growing up. It was just different it's different for everybody. But for me, it was kind of like, we grew up very sheltered. So we only saw a certain type of thing while we were at home, and certain words and different things and different, just the way the world works. You learn it differently at home than how it is in the real world, so
Right.
when you go into the real world and I'm in elementary school and people are like teasing me and I'm not understanding it because I've never heard the words they're saying,
Right.
kind of thing. It's like, it's kind of like an awakening type thing, because you understand what these people are saying, and then they're like, and then you think about it, and so you're like, am I this way, or am I just different? Am I, it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of like being unsure. But I definitely knew very on that like I was just different. I knew I was different, and it's never something I wanted, but it's just something that just kind of happened, I feel like.
It just kind of unfolded.
Yeah, I just found out like I didn't do like that stuff. I liked this stuff. I didn't like to play sports. I wanted to do art stuff. I didn't feel comfortable wearing certain things. I wanted to wear the things that I liked. It's a lot of different stuff. And with your parents, at least with my parents, and I'm sure with a lot of other people's parents, they always they always think of you in a certain way. They want you to not necessarily be a certain way, but they have these hopes and dreams for you when you're younger, that you're gonna be like this cool guy and do all these things the way that they thought that they wanted you to do them. And it sucks when you don't necessarily live up to those standards, but it's just a growing process for everyone, and it's a big deal for some people. And like I feel like for myself, it's one of those things where like you have to come into terms with it, because I know like deep down inside my family like loves me, but I wasn't necessarily doing the things that I should have been doing, or like the correct decisions, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a father of 3 right now, and I have 2 that are about to enter into teenage years. They're 12 and 11. And yeah, I do have these, they know I have this set of expectations for them. I also kind of push them
Yeah.
and to overachieve where you can. My mindset, and I can only speak for mine, is if they get close to it, I'm happy with it. I just want them to reach for it. That would be my, and that's and more in terms of academics. Socially, I'm still kind of learning as I go because myself, I wasn't a social butterfly, so I
Yeah.
don't know all the tricks to the trade, and my kids kind of picked up my characteristics.
You think so?
I think parts of them
Okay.
that could become flaws if they don't know how to navigate around it.
Okay.
So, but they're learning, and I know I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm just gonna try to help them the best I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sheltered part is something we totally do.
Yeah.
We totally try to keep them away from like a lot of the stuff that's happening now. And I think the bar was different back then.
Yeah, and back then, kids are like they have a lot of access to the internet, and back then it was a lot different. I mean, we had the desktop, but back then when I was young, I wasn't using an iPad, I wasn't using an iPhone, so the way we got information was literally just our parents and just like the TV, just the channels we were allowed to watch or whatever. So a lot of it is you're learning how to do like cleaning, just cleaning the house, like these things that I've learned from my parents, like stuff like that I appreciate because it's the little things that we learned in that time period. So it's kind of weird because I don't know, it's definitely like a sheltered feeling.
There is, but also I feel like I feel like now less people are able to do those simple tasks.
Yeah.
Or at least are aware or considerate of those basic little things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that does kind of help. Although you probably feel like you were more sheltered in terms of like maybe like social interaction.
Yeah, definitely like social interaction back then in elementary school and like kindergarten and what I can remember was relatively good until probably about like second grade for me personally because I started to show traits of being kind of feminine.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of was pointed out and people were like making fun of me and like saying stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, and it was more like me not understanding kind of like what to do in situations like that and then not telling anybody and then kind of trying to like, I don't know, not necessarily hide it, but kind of like trying to handle it myself, even though I couldn't. Yeah.
Right. Right. And do you think that in hindsight now, do you wish you would have kind of reached out more?
Well, like I know back then, like when I did get teased one time in like sixth grade, I think sixth grade, I said something to my mom finally about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been getting teased for a while, but I never said a lot of it because I don't know. I don't remember exactly why. I don't know. Things were just different back then, and we didn't talk about stuff like that. It was different when you got home from school, you know. But yeah. One time I told my mom about this kid who was teasing me, and the next day I remember like she came to pick me up from school, and she saw that kid, and he was like out there with the next to like he was inside a classroom, and we were outside the classroom. And we were literally just talking about it for some reason. We had just had a meeting about my report card and stuff, and then the teacher had let them know because it became like a bigger issue. And she saw the kid from the outside, from the outside of the classroom, and she called him over because she knew him by name. And she's like, "This is my son, and I'm his mother," telling the kid. And she's like, "If you ever fuck with him again, I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna come talk to them and talk to your mom and blah 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 and all this stuff." And I remember seeing one of the teachers just look up and look at the situation, and kind of just look back down. I mean, this kid was teasing a lot of different kids, being a bully to a lot of different kids, but that was one thing I do remember because I did tell my mom, but I don't think she ever told my dad. I can say now I have no resentment towards my parents. I love them both very much. I can say that. But back then, and even a few, like I would say 5 years ago, I was not in the mindset I am right now because I had resentment towards both of them for two different reasons, but I mean not two different reasons for different reasons, but both of them for just different stuff. And my mom now lives in Idaho, and she's been living in Idaho, and so I don't really have her here. And so that's been like difficult in a way, and like frustrating, I think, too, for my siblings. And my dad, we've gone along very, very well these past few years, and I'm very happy about that. But there's just a lot of things that, like, you think back, and I'm one of those people who believe in therapy, so I've gone to therapy, So one thing that I learned was, like, all the resentment you have, you need to let it go, and all the things that you wish you could tell them, all the little things you want to bring up, all the things like, hey, I remember this, why did you say this, why did you make me feel that way, why did you do this, what was the reason why, all those little questions. It's better to let them go and to be happy and to move forward, because most of those decisions in the time, they don't even remember them, or like, there's so many different things that were going on in everyone's lives back then. It's just kind of no reason to go to the past, kind of.
I get you, because on a different matter though, for a while I was trying to look back on our ancestry.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Through just turning in the saliva swabs and going and get checked out for ancestry DNA. I found out we have like close to a quarter French in us. I'm like, how do we have French?
Yeah.
And so I started asking questions, but nobody really knows. Nobody really goes back and looks back in the past to tell you what happened here, what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about your great grandfather. My grandfather from my paternal grandfather. I have no idea about who he was.
Wait, so like grandma's
No,
parents? Or grandpa's parents?
Grandpa's parents.
Oh, okay.
Grandpa's parents. I don't know where he came from. I mean,
I
mean, they pinpointed this state, that state, but I can't lock him down.
What do you mean? Really?
I can't lock it. I can't lock it down. I don't know.
He doesn't remember, or have you
asked him? He doesn't remember. Like, apparently, he lived in this part of Mexico. He left because of some family dispute and never looked back and never reached out to his family since then. And so,
whoa, really?
Yeah, and that's the story of your great grandfather, my grandfather. I mean, that's the dude.
That's kind of whoa, that's kind of crazy, actually. Like for it to be that, because then you look back and you think about our family and how everybody kind of is with their father.
They do their It's like history repeats itself, and unfortunately, it's in our DNA.
I'm trying not to be like that, though. You know.
I think we're all, this generation now is more aware,
mm-hmm.
and I think we're more willing to kind of reflect on the past, unlike the others who just kind of keep on moving, on trucking, only because they had to they had to.
Yeah.
But with us, everything's recorded.
Yeah, and you learn, and everyone. I mean, everyone is just getting older. The younger kids who were super young when I wasn't even that young. I mean, I'm 25, but now all the other cousins, it's pretty wild.
You wanna know? A couple of days ago, I was with my kids and I was playing with them, and I realized how much they gravitate towards me.
Yeah.
Especially right now, my little one, Nico. He whenever I come in, he's always like, he's quick to find me and lock eyes, and then just like want to get up and play. And he starts like, I you know how you mess with your lips and you go like, you make the funny sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing that he's doing that when I'm around, because he knows that's what I do.
Yeah.
So he's so connected, and I just think, man, they're so. How did I become like that good of a dad, where they're looking to me to talk to and play with and all that stuff, and I think about, I always thought about what your dad told me, because when I told him, it was my oldest brother, when I told him that Mikey was coming, my firstborn,
mm-hmm.
he told me any boy can get a girl pregnant, but it takes a man to raise a kid. And at the time, it felt more like he was trying to put me down instead of it being like him just kind of challenge me or just trying to get my mind to focus on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like right now, I guess at that time I was just like, I'll show you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Like,
I'll
here,
show you.
watch.
Yeah. Fucker, hold my beer. Show what kind of dad I can be. You know. And that was the mode. But I realized that if that kind of helped me kind of focus to being a good dad.
Yeah.
Sometimes in those words, there are
They stay with you.
They stay with you.
Yeah.
They do stay with you, and there are kernels of motivation depending on the type of person you are. It could be a motivator, or it could be a total soul wrecker.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes they don't get. Sometimes when people talk,
Yeah.
they don't know how. They don't understand how it could be interpreted. And I feel more often than not, they're soul wrecking.
Yeah, but they want to build. I get that. It's always people saying they want to build character. You know, give you thick skin. I feel like, but especially with specifically my dad, your brother, saying that to you, probably, you know, and probably wanting you to focus on the situation for sure.
Right.
More like, hey, you know, you got this girl pregnant, like.
Do what
Are you gonna do what you're supposed to do? Because
right.
I did it, or you know, the little bit of the challenge, a little bit of the, hey, focus.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like there are things that people say they stick with you.
They stick with
you.
They stick with you, and like in your professional job, like in every day, do you feel like your sexuality has kept you from getting a job that you want?
I don't want to say it's kept me. It's probably gotten me the jobs that I wanted, because most managers like gay men for some reason. At least the managers I've had, they've hired
Why do you
me.
think? Is that
It's weird. They just say they like them, and I mean, I do a pretty good job at what I do. At all the jobs that I've worked pretty well, so I haven't had too many complaints about anything too bad.
But I mean, can I actually like expose a stereotype?
Yeah.
That everyone knows. I mean, gay people are nice.
Yeah,
They're super polite and diplomatic.
Yeah. Diplomatic is one word I love, because I try to definitely give everybody like the benefit of the doubt and be very diplomatic and very. I don't want to say like too open, but I'm very like, you know, I'm very willing to be a chill person, approachable person, a nice person, only because. I mean, if that's how I'm going to be, I feel like that's how people act towards me. And I mean, if they don't, then that's the type of person they are, and I know not to, you know, mess with that person. Or you know what I mean?
Right.
You definitely will notice when you're like, "Hi, how are you today?" And then someone doesn't even say hi back.
You definitely know how to read a room.
For sure. I think you have to, at least to be able to make it. I mean, for anybody, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. You got to be able to know. But for gay people especially, you definitely do have to know, I think, at least.
Right.
There's a limit.
Now, back when I was young, there used to be a lot of stories of a lot of hate crimes.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And I always remember one, and I think I believe it was in Texas, where they had gotten a guy, tied him, roped him, and dragged him on, while they were driving their pickup. Yeah. That was one of the biggest ones. It got national headlines.
Oh God, yeah.
Those things were very prevalent back in the day.
Yeah.
I was aware of it. I'm sure your father was aware of it. I'm sure other people were aware of it. And earlier we were speaking about your dad, and being a tough guy. But do you feel like in a way he was kind of trying to protect you from like this life that could be somewhat dangerous?
Yeah.
At the time, of course.
Yeah, there were definitely times where, I mean, I remember back when I was still just coming out, and my parents were giving me very like mixed signals. They were telling me things that were like, I don't want to say that was very negative about gay people, but it kind of was, I can't beat around the bush. It kind of was. And stuff like, my mom had a gay uncle named Uncle Arthur, and he died of AIDS. He died, and I remember my dad telling me, like, when he died, it was like really fucked up, and like I remember him telling me, like, I don't want that for you, and another time, like that same uncle he was taking the trolley here in Chula Vista down here, and he got beat up really bad, and like just terribly had to be taken to the hospital. And that's another story, they told me, because it was, they didn't want to, like, maybe they wanted to scare me into being straight. I don't, like, yeah, no, not necessarily that, but like, I guess protect me, I guess keep me not necessarily away from that life, but I don't know. It's kind of a iffy kind of.
I mean, looking at it in parents' eyes, and I can't read their mind.
Yeah.
I would always, like, I would have been concerned, because if you're just being fed all this news, because like the HIV crisis was real back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Now
yeah.
you don't hear too much about it.
Yeah.
Now you don't hear.
There's actually this thing called PrEP. That's like, it's like a pill that people can take and they can
Yeah.
live, that's.
But imagine 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have anything. Like, you would take cocktail of things, and it was expensive.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't afford it, you'd be dead.
You're dead, yeah.
And it's just like, well, at that time, with the knowledge that we had, or they had, I mean, it was like, oh man, what if?
Yeah.
What if? And then they would try to protect you. But now things have gotten a lot better for the gay community.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel now it's not that much. There's not that stigma anymore. I feel with the HIV being connected and stuff, there's not that stigma, and then the hate crimes. I wish I could say they're gone, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not gone. They're different places of the world. They're definitely still like they're going on. In
Did you hear?
States.
Did you hear about London?
What about London?
There were two. There was a lesbian couple on board a double-decker bus, I believe.
Yes.
And they were harassed by male. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, by a bunch of male passengers there for they wanted them to kiss on demand.
Oh.
And I thought that is so revolting, and I never thought I would hear it from London.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's still a very well-developed a city in a well-developed country,
Yeah.
and this is still going on, and it makes me think. I was trying to think of anything within San Diego that I've heard, but I feel like I don't get the full stories all the time here in San Diego. I don't know if every hate crime is reported on a platform.
Yeah, I feel like here it is a lot different, and things kind of like, I don't want to say they get passed, but they get kind of overlooked, I want to say.
Right.
And here, I mean, I don't want to say like I haven't experienced any hate crimes, but I've like walking down the street, you're just walking, and then like somebody outside the window of their car just comes and just they're driving down and just like faggot, like super loud.
Yeah.
Like out the car just looking at you and just like middle finger. I mean, stuff like that still happens like daily.
That happens to you?
Yeah. I mean, there's like bullshit. I mean, there's people that are like fucking assholes that are still like that. It's weird. You don't really see it too much. I mean, but that did recently just happen, actually.
Recently? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny to me. It's just funny that people take the time out of their days. I mean, I don't know if I walk a certain way, I look a certain way. People can tell. I mean, I don't really give a shit, but it's like, it's funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is just, to me, it's surprising that in 2019, some dudes still driving around their fucking, like, Lincoln and just going shouting out, like, fucking, faggot. It's like, what the hell, man? It's like, but there are still a lot of ignorant people, and and a lot of people who just are willing to just like shit on things, shit on people. No, it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
But they feel like they want to go out and make your day a little worse.
It's super weird. That's a thing that's happened for years. I'm like, that's just happened for years. It's so funny. I'm not even saying gay because I'm talking to my uncle.
That's the weird thing, right?
Yeah, sorry.
It's like
sorry, people. We're talking about being gay.
Being gay. It's like, it's such a dumb thing.
Just because we haven't talked about it.
Like, we haven't like talked it at an open forum.
Yeah, not like this. Not where people will hear. And
right now I feel like you're living in a like an awesome time. It's not perfect yet. but it's way better than it was.
I'd say it's going to be perfect for the gays that come after me. They are going to be living in such a free world. Well, I mean, they kind of do. Because to be honest, I mean, I'm comfortable with the person I am now. But there's like 9-year-old boys that are doing makeup and like YouTube tutorials, and they're drag superstars, making thousands of dollars as a 9-year-old that's wearing a wig and knowing all this gay lingo and going to clubs and performing. And there's like, then there's people saying like, what about like the mother, is she exploiting her children? Well, no, like that child wants to do that child knows about that and is already like so comfortable with themselves in this day and age as a 9-year-old kid that they can do their makeup and do that. Like that's wild to me when I hear about that or see that. It does honestly shock me, and I'm like, wow, these kids are so comfortable with themselves because they do have a support group, because people in this day and age that are having children now are okay with having gay kids, and it's not so much a negative thing. So hey, Timmy's 1 year old, but Timmy wants a dress, so Timmy gets a dress because that's what Timmy wants. Like if that's what your kid wants and what he's leaning towards, you have to decide as a parent what you're willing to put up with and all that stuff. And there's so many decisions that come in with that. But at the same time, when you let that child have that freedom, then they can become these awesome people and have so much confidence. And now, like as a 25-year-old me, I feel like I have confidence a little bit. I do have that confidence I got from my family, but a lot of it is like the stuff I built up by myself. A lot of it is the situations I had to go through and things I had to learn. And I mean, it's the same for everybody, but the kids that are doing that and the kids that have so much support, the support that I didn't get, I mean, if I would have gotten that support, I mean, who knows where I could have gone with everything, if that makes any sense. Just having like 100% feedback on everything and having an open space and things were a lot different back then. Going back to growing up sheltered, a lot of people grew up in the 90s, early 2000s. Things were a lot different than how they are now. About to be 2020 next year, it's 2019. Things have definitely changed, and the way people are raising their kids and stuff like that has definitely changed.
Definitely has, but I'm not gonna shit on your point.
Yeah.
Because because it's one that's like right now, it's in the now, and I'm kind of more of an older generation where I don't know if I'd be down with a 9-year-old dressing in drag. The only reason being is that I don't think they're ready to establish their sexuality just yet. It's like depending of how much they're exposed to early on.
Yeah.
It's like they're still like a kid's a kid until a certain age where then okay, the hormones are starting to kick in. You're gonna start noticing you're attracted to a certain sex.
Yeah.
But I don't. But at 9, I feel like that's way too early. But then again, some kids' hormones work faster than others.
Yeah, and I mean at 9 guys,
and maybe the 9-year-old's not so much a sexuality thing; it's more like an aesthetic thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, for him, I don't remember if he like that specific like person or that specific child. I don't remember if he ever said that he was like gay. But I know that he was with the gay community. He was working with like famous drag queens. His mother was talking to them, and he was, like working the runway and using, the gay lingo that they use in the club. I mean, he kind of has to know. I mean, I'm sure that child has probably exposed himself and kind of has a way of thinking and probably knows. I mean, that's certain instance.
Yeah.
But everyday kids, that are going through it. I mean, it just depends on the child, and I feel like too I don't remember necessarily like liking or knowing when I was gay, but I always knew it was like different. It was weird. It's just a weird kind of like embarrassing feeling when you're young, because it is weird. It's just a weird feeling, especially back then when you're like 9 years old.
So do you feel like maybe that they're...
I mean, I couldn't say I was gay when I was 9, for sure. I couldn't say that.
Right.
But I know I didn't really like girls, but I liked guys more. Yeah, I want to say kind of yeah, because I had that feeling, even though I never acted on it. because I was always taught, guys go with girls.
Right.
Because you're
Right,
straight.
yeah, that's what
boys
they
are
do.
straight. So it's a lot of like you going, if you're gonna go with those feelings, if you're gonna go with what you're told, and I feel like I did go with what I was told, and then kind of like experienced that, and then kind of like decided that's not what I wanted.
Mhm.
So for everyone it's different, but I do respect your point, and that is true, very true. A kid can't really say their sexual orientation until they really are old enough to be able to understand that.
I know that he's got the lingo down, he's got the looks down, like in terms of like just like dressing up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's all just
Like a dress up.
that's for him. It could be dress up, and all the lingo he learns it from the people he's exposed to, and that's cool. You're on top of things. That's fine. That's for a 9-year-old. Wow, he probably knows more than I do.
Yeah. More than I do.
Right, exactly. But I just feel like I don't know if he can define himself on any particular label yet, and I don't think he should have to. I don't think
he shouldn't. Exactly.
I don't think anybody
should be questioning that.
No one should project anything onto that 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Like we all know what we've all gone through, and what we wish we would have had at 9. But that 9-year-old is just doing. Hopefully, he's just doing his thing because he just likes his thing. And whatever road he takes is his road. It's not something that's created by just the influence.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like just like how I don't want like somebody who's going to Sunday school constantly just end up being like a freaking devout Catholic or a Christian because he's brainwashed.
Yeah.
I don't want like none of that. I mean, I want this 9-year-old to be able to find their path, because remember the parents could be looking for clickbait.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about too. It's like it's like if he's cool with it and he's happy with it, and that's cool. Let him still be a kid.
Yeah.
And as long as he likes playing dress up and doing his thing, do his thing.
Yeah.
But let him find himself. Let him find himself, because if you don't let him find himself, then he's gonna be manufactured.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a product of outside influences, and it's just like, well, then we're all like, then what free will does he really have?
Yeah.
But no, and I'm glad that he's happy with it. I'm glad that he's doing this, and he's kind of like, if it's on his own free will, then good for him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's weird. I know it's gonna get a lot of hate.
Why?
Because everything that's contrary right now gets hate. It's like, no, man.
No, not necessarily. I mean, you just have a valid point, because you don't necessarily know for sure.
Right.
And I mean, no one can speak for that certain kid. I mean, I just literally clicked on the video on YouTube, and
you're like, how?
And it was literally just like, I mean, he was talking about it. I like watched his little interview. I mean, with his mom, he was just saying how much he loved to do it and how he watched the YouTube videos and all that stuff. But like, my whole point was like with that stuff was just like the confidence that he gets from the parent, like to be able to really go that extra length, to really go out there and do that because he feels like that's what he likes.
Yes.
Not necessarily bring his sexuality into it, just bringing into the fact that he's doing it because he wants to do it, and that's what he likes. And he's learning those people, obviously, because those people are intertwined with that gay community and blah blah blah, and that's why he's learning that certain type of lingo and learning that that's the way supposedly it is. So maybe it is a little bit of, like how you said, I don't want to say brainwash, but it is a little bit of an influence. But at the end of the day, if that's what he wants to do, then we could talk about a girl just doing math all day, like trying to become an astronaut.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then all she's doing is just math, and all she's doing is being in her room, and like, it's, we would want to support her too and all that she does, and not necessarily bring her sexuality into it. But I mean, it just depends. It depends on how you look at it. It's a lot of tiptoe, and I hope you don't get a lot of hate for what you said, but I get what you mean. It's a lot of different point of views, and it could definitely be, it could definitely be which way. So you never know unless you live in it. So don't judge these people out here. Don't judge because you never know.
Hello, friend. Do you love Pokemon?
Yes.
Do you want to be the best there is?
Yes.
The best there ever was?
Yes.
Well then, I have an entirely new game for you from the makers of Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sleep. Comes Pokemon Poop.
Pokemon.
Pokemon Poop is the latest, newest, greatest game from Game Freak. Imagine you taking a poop every day and getting rewarded with a whole new Eevee evolution, Shitzion. Imagine you battling your friends online with your own very special Shitzion. Ha! I'm gonna bring out my Charizard! He's a level 55 Charizard! Good luck beating that!
I choose you, Shichion.
Oh no! He's got the special rare Shitzion!
Now use Tormented Blast.
Oh my god, there's sludge and... Oh god, it's so terrible, it stinks! Come back, Charizard, come back! Yes, friends, you too could have your very own Shitzion if you just download the new Pokemon Poop app. Make sure you log on every day when you pass a log. Download free at the Apple Store or Google Play today. It's Pride Month.
Yes.
It's Pride Month in San Diego.
Woo, happy
but it's Pride every day, right? I mean,
yeah.
San Diego is like totally. It's so inclusive.
Yes, for sure. It's so diverse here. There's so many people and so many open people. So it's like it is always fun here, especially right here around this area in Hillcrest. It's always Pride here. Always.
And for people who aren't aware, Hillcrest is, it's kind of categorized as our gay community.
Yes.
It's predominantly gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender.
Yes.
And folk who live here, and it's everything about Hillcrest is great, with the exception of the parking.
Yes, there's no parking.
There's no parking because that's how hot it is here, guys. Everyone wants to be here. It's freaking awesome. I mean, not only do you have like the clubs and the shows, but you also have the great eateries.
Yes.
The best food could be found out here.
Definitely.
You know?
Sushi. You like sushi? Come over here.
You want a little taste of Thai? Right down the corner.
Yep. And they have vegan.
Yeah, exactly. And like, dude, you're 25.
Yes.
You're 25 years old, and you are now living in a golden era, I feel. I mean, I would say everybody in the LGBTQ community 20 years ago wouldn't be able to say the same.
Yeah.
Or 30 years ago, especially not 30 years ago, and go down all the way down to 50 years ago. I mean, we're at the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, so that's why I'm going all the way back to that. But, I mean, you can see how much a difference 50 years makes. There's a lot more awareness now.
Yep.
A lot more knowledge out there, and we're so much more interconnected. It's hard to say that. It's hard not to look at things and say, hey, things are looking up.
We've came a long way from where we were. I mean, I think that everyone has gone through struggles. I mean, I look back and there's a few struggles I've gone through, but now in this day and age, for the kids and for all the people who are young and gay, straight, bi, transgender and whatever, it's a lot easier to be able to be yourself. And that's one of the main things I can really say. I can feel like I can be myself now. I'm more confident and more comfortable at this age, but I think the people the kids in this age will feel a lot more confident than I did back then.
Do you feel like there's a lot more support groups out there for the community than there was back when you were growing up? I can say that it was very much in the closet.
Yeah.
Sorry for the pun, but but that's how it was. I think earlier you mentioned that there wasn't so much of a support system during middle school and high school.
Yeah.
When did that support system finally actually appear in your life?
Well, for me personally, I think it was when I kind of just came to terms with my sexuality. I just told myself, I'm gay. I just kind of like said it a lot of times until like it was weird. Until I kind of, I don't want to say got a reaction out of myself, but until it kind of like sank in to myself that I was, and that is kind of like who I am, and that everything has led up to this. If that makes any sense, it's weird. It's just a lot of obstacles, a lot of things you figure out. But that when I finally decided, when I was gay and decided to be more comfortable with myself and just kind of live daily life, I feel like that's when my own support system started to grow. And that's when a lot of friends, I think, noticed a difference within me, and just that I was gonna be, like this, and I was just gonna be how I wanted to be, and I wasn't gonna care, and if no one liked it, oh well, I'm just gonna be who I wanted to be. And then I think everyone just grew to understand that that's how I was. So it was like, that's how he's gonna be, and he's confident, so that's him.
So your friends, for the most part, accepted.
Yeah, for sure. Back then, mostly just girls. I was friends with mostly just girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all were like cool with it.
Okay, I have to point out something. And is it? It feels like it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pick out one of these old guy stereotypes.
Yes.
For every group of girls, there always seems to be that one gay friend.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that true?
Yeah, usually.
I
Yeah.
see. I'm not totally making this up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But why? But what is up with that? Why do you think it's
There's just always like usually one.
Why?
Cool,
But why one?
Because there's usually just one cool gay guy. But I mean, sometimes it could be. Like with us, it's a pair.
Well, there you go.
But like, I don't know. Back in high school, it's because there usually is only one out. Okay, out of all the kids, out of everyone in high school, there's only usually just one gay guy who's like out and kind of cool with all the girls, and he just hangs out with the girls, and they're just like all friends. I mean, even still to this day and age, you find your friends, and there's a group of people, but there's a gay guy hanging out with all the girls or something.
I feel like you were comfortable in your skin very early.
Yeah, I just owned it.
Yeah.
I just learned to own it.
Right.
Which was hard, but I just did it. But I tried. I tried to act like I was. I'm glad that it looked like it.
You're pulling it off well.
Yeah.
You're pulling it off very well. I feel like you've really you've established yourself really strongly here in the heart of San Diego, in where all things are going on. I mean, like right down the corner, we got Lestat's coffee shop. That for me is already impressive. But then you got Hillcrest down there. You got El Cajon. You got Balboa Park down the street.
Mission Valley's not too close. We got Fashion Valley. I'm right here.
You're in the center of San Diego, and you don't. It's not something where you're connected.
Yeah,
you're
for
absolutely
sure.
connected.
Yeah.
And a day in the life for you, Tony Rivera.
Yes.
I mean, how is it? I mean, like on a daily basis, do you feel like everything just rolls with like things going well like here?
To be honest, I think they are. I do feel safe here, and I feel like I'm where I'm meant to be at this point of my life. I feel like I am in the hub of like San Diego. I'm very connected to everything, so I do feel a sense of being kind of grounded to here and just aware of my surroundings and what's going on, and just the different opportunities that I can really like, I can walk down the street and do this, and I can do that, and it's just it is kind of cool. It's cool, I love it. I love it so much. And, being like a gay man, I find that being yourself and just being happy and confident is really just like the best way to live. Now it's so weird because people tell you that, but you don't really think about it in the moment, or, you do different things, and, but it's always in the back of your mind. But it is a better way to live. And like, I don't feel like people discriminate against me, or if I do go through challenges, and I do feel like sometimes I do cross the line sometimes with things that I say or things that I do, and I need to like I'm still learning and making sure I know what I can do around certain people and things like that. But there isn't anything that I don't have around me, if that makes any sense. I feel like I have a lot of different things, and I can always go back home and still have that family and like
Right.
that support that I have now.
So there's not like a constant antagonist out there on a daily basis bugging you. There might be like the random, like somebody being stupid
Yeah.
out there on the street, like passing by, rolling by. I mean that can happen to anybody, even with women getting catcalled.
Yeah.
But there isn't someone out there. There isn't like a particular group or a particular person out there just trying to, just shit on your parade.
Yeah, exactly. No, not really. I really don't feel that way because, no, I don't know. There's just like a positivity you just have to just bring into your life and just kind of like, I mean, I'm happy to talk to anybody. I'm an open person and I'm willing to kind of make friends really with anybody and be chill with anybody. But, everyone has like their walls up and their guard and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
How about
There's-
family? I mean, you're feeling better with family little by little?
Yeah, I mean, with family, it's really easy. I think I'm a lot more comfortable with everyone,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think a lot of the old guard is starting to go down. Like we're all just trying to catch up with how things are now, and we're getting more knowledge. I think we're learning to be more understanding and open. I feel like I don't know if I can speak for everybody in the family, but
Yeah.
I can at least say, I mean myself. I mean, like, although that's never been an issue with me.
No, it really hasn't. You've always been very open, and I've been always able to talk to you about, different things like this. Because I remember, too, long ago when I talked to you about something, about, being gay and stuff like that, at Grandma's house, like, 2000, and I don't even remember. But
Oh, what did I tell you?
you just consoled me and just let me know that it was okay, and, just stuff like that. It was a cool moment. At least it's one of those moments that I remember. Yeah, it was just like support back then. Something I needed to hear.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, that's always been. That's kind of. It's just like you got to find yourself, and
Yeah.
you have to be able to be yourself because we only got this life going on right now. Nothing's guaranteed, right?
It's true. Nothing is guaranteed.
So you got to live on your own terms. You got to live the way you want to live and how you and just love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself for sure. And
Take care of yourself.
And learn how to love yourself. That's a really good one because I feel like too, with like, we grew up, we're Mexican, so the Mexican type of mentality of stuff like that, it can be sometimes kind of harsh. It can be very different than what you expect. At least how I felt.
There's the machismo.
Yeah. Expectation.
Yeah, exactly. Being
be
the
very
man of the
macho,
house,
yes.
and you being and just the card you're dealt. You're being the first
Born.
male
Yes.
of that generation.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of
Expectation for me.
yeah, there was a lot of expectations put on you, But I feel like you're living up to the expectation of being a very successful person. You have been able to make it out here on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You've been able to establish a good social circle.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a strong networking presence with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were doing videos.
Yeah, and I really do want to get back into that. I just, I want to make my own music. And I've been tinkering with that for the past, year, but it's been hard. But it's been fun, but it's just about creating the correct type of beat, at least for me.
It's
The type of beat and tempo that I need and want, and yeah, and lyrics, it's like I can't sing, but I can make it work if that makes sense.
right. I mean, you'll lend some lyrics in here and there, but you can always work with other people too to try to fill in the pieces of that puzzle.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like now with the internet age being as strong as it is right now, I feel like there's always that ability to collaborate.
Yes. And I did videos with my friends, and like I used them as models and stuff, and we had fun, and like paid me in lunch. So good times, good times.
You got a YouTube channel you want to plug?
No, I don't. I mean, I have a YouTube channel that has no videos that I'm getting ready to.
You're gonna launch it?
Eventually, when I make that first song and that first video, I just need to do it. I just need to find the right type of tempo. It's getting, I don't want to say frustrating, but it's becoming a challenge. There we go.
Right now, I've been trying to learn how to, I work with video. I work with the editing of the podcast, so I mess with
Yes.
audio and
Yeah.
stuff all the time. And I do want to try to tinker more with GarageBand because, geez, I need to learn how to make music.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's definitely a learning process. A lot of reading,
Right.
because you got to know how to what moves what and how it's going to affect the sound. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been learning. So it's been cool because I have actually been tinkering with GarageBand actually. So I do like it and would recommend it because it is easy enough, but you do have to have some type of grasp on what you're doing because you're not going to get the sound that you want, like how I was in the beginning. But it's just a learning process.
Trial and error.
Basically,
Right.
Yes, a lot of trial and error, but hey, I'm getting there almost. I'm almost there.
So, dude, how interconnected are you with the actual LGBT community? I mean, like, I feel like people on the outside always look like, oh, everyone's part of the group, but not necessarily so. Everyone just kind of does their own thing. But how strong is the presence here?
I mean, for me here, I mean the presence is pretty strong because we're pretty close to Hillcrest, where I specifically live here in University Heights. There is, a pretty strong gay community around here, but me personally, like, I'm not very into the gay community, and what I mean by that is, like, I'm not very
Involved?
I'm not very involved with the social events. I mean, there is Pride Fair coming up and stuff like that, but there are a lot of other events that go on and different shows that go on in different clubs, and just there's actually so much going on on the daily, and there's a lot of people that are involved, but I'm not one of those people who are involved. I'm one of those, just, those low-key chill people.
Right.
Kinda. I mean, I go to the clubs and stuff, but it's nothing that I'm really involved in.
What about your circle? Like your circle of
My
friends,
circle.
a fellow people in the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Like, what are their experiences like? I'm sure they've come to you and talked to you about how they reached this point in their life.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of I would say a lot of pushback from their families, or a lot of like trauma from the outside forces, a lot of harassment? Do you feel like some of their experiences may have been a little more tougher?
Well, I want to say, well, this is kind of funny because I personally don't have any gay friends.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have any gay friends, but Reef has gay friends. My partner has gay friends, and their experiences were a lot harder because they're a lot more feminine, and they are, they're feminine and in the way where they were just like wearing makeup at like 15 and kind of like, they were being themselves. They're just doing their stuff and like being out there and wearing, crazy stuff and colorful stuff and, just being crazy gay teenagers, and they got a lot of pushback from people being assholes to them. But for me personally, after after high school, it was pretty chill for me. I mean, at least for me personally. For a lot of other people, it was a lot harder, for sure. It just depends on the type of person you are.
Right.
I want to say, yeah.
Well, the person you are now,
Yeah.
if you could go back and talk to like a young you,
Yeah.
let's say you're 10 or 12 years old, what would you tell yourself right now?
Ooh,
What
there's
words
a
of
lot of
yeah.
things I would tell myself. There's too many things.
You only got 30 seconds, buddy.
Oh.
You're going to be fading back into your
There's
time.
only 30 seconds?
in your
Wait.
timeline, yeah.
Okay, and I'm talking to myself right in front. Hey, what's up? Hey. So, let's see. I gotta tell you something, buddy. I gotta tell you something real bad. Just relax. It's not a big deal, but, don't hate everybody. Don't hate everybody. Make the right decisions. Go to school. Go to school and actually go to school, because You never went to school. You fucked around. You fucked around way too much, and you know what you did. So go to school and just finish.
You're fading out. It's like Marty McFly
All
in
right,
Back to
all
the
right,
Future.
and real quick, shit. I don't even know. There's too much, Michael.
Zip, you're gone.
Too much.
It's
Woo!
too much.
That was.
Now he's
that was-
just
I'm so upset.
He's staring blankly into the sky, into the space where you were at.
Yeah, literally.
He's confused. He's probably gonna go seek therapy now.
Oh my, yeah, I just really did it now.
Some dude in a beard came up and talked to me. He looked like Jesus.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm sorry. That was too much thinking. I thought of so much at once. But if I had 5 more seconds, 5 more seconds,
You would have gotten it right.
Yeah, I would have gotten it right. I would just let him know. I would have just let him know. I would to just relax, cause I didn't relax.
Mm.
I didn't relax, man, and
It was.
I want to say I dug my own grave. Cause I just fucked around and then I stopped caring and then I just let it get the better of me and I wallowed and I was upset and I was pissed and I think I feel like I let a few years go by where I could have done something different than what I was doing, I guess. And whatever, everyone has their things. I mean, I'm 25, I'm not too old yet, but
Nope. It's adolescence, my friend.
Exactly.
Adolescence.
Exactly.
I mean, we all go through that kind of angst, but of course, I mean, you acknowledge it at 25, which is
Yeah.
way better than most people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, with things are looking up for you.
Yeah, I want to say they are,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, I guess to close off the conversation, it is 2019. Like I said, we're I mentioned the
Happy
Stone.
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Are you going to be going to Pride this year?
I am. I'm gonna go to Pride this year, and I didn't go last year. I didn't personally go last year. But I'm gonna go this year because I do feel good. I feel good. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm at a good point with my life. I feel everybody, and when I mean everybody, I just mean like my friends. My work. I'm doing good at work. I'm doing good with my friends. I'm seeing them when I'm gonna have time. I'm seeing my family when I have time. And I'm making the time for myself and my relationship, and just as a person, I do feel like I am happy and positive, and I do want to go out and just show, just that I am happy, my pride, that I am proud to be a gay man, and it's even though it's still so hard to say a little bit because it's just so weird. But
Isn't it like weird to label yourself?
yeah, the label of it, but just because I hear just the word gay, it has so much meaning behind it and so much feelings for me. But it's weird. It's weird. It stings, but it feels good. If that makes any sense.
Hopefully one day, I hope one day we can just say it like
It's anything.
it's like, hey, that dude has blue eyes, kind of thing. Like it's just like it is.
Yeah.
It just,
And I feel like we are almost
it's like a
getting there.
descriptor, but it's like it doesn't pack a punch.
We are almost getting there though, because a lot of people, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of straight guy friends. They don't care that I'm gay. They're chill, and guys my age. So it just depends on who you hang out with, the people you surround yourself with. It just depends.
Yeah, hang out with good people and that good vibes.
Good
keep on
vibes.
going.
Exactly.
Keep on going. And before I don't want to forget asking though. Being out there with Reef, your partner.
Yeah.
Can you be yourselves? Can you be cool? Can you be happy?
We can, but me personally, I get kind of nervous. I do still, just like kissing and holding hands and all that stuff. Just because especially around like kids, I definitely pay attention because I don't want to do anything around any children or anything like that in public, just out of respect. But if I'm at the gay bar, I'm at the gay bar. I'm at the gay club. That's the type of environment where I feel comfortable, where I can do that for sure. But in daily life, it just depends. I mean, I'll hold his hand, in the movie theaters when we're watching a movie. Maybe we're walking down the mall for like a little bit. But
Right.
It just depends, It just depends. But I am comfortable, but it's
Baby steps?
Baby steps. Even still for myself, because, I don't know. Even still for myself. It's weird. It's a weird life. It's a weird life these days.
You're just trying to figure it out little
Yep.
by little.
Just being comfortable and still being respectful for everybody. Just for everybody. Not to cause too much attention. Not to make... Because, I don't want to say I limit myself or I don't do something on purpose because I don't want to be noticed. But, I kind of do. Only because I don't want someone that doesn't like gay people to come up to me and, give me shit because I'm holding my boyfriend's hand. I'd rather just avoid that. So I guess a part of me does do that because I don't want to go through that bullshit. But it's not something I necessarily have to do and always do. And there's just time and place for everything, at least in my head. And for some people, it's different. For some people, they feel comfortable 100% all the time, no matter what. And those people, I commend those people.
I feel it's rough for those who do kind of go out there and they do express themselves openly.
Yes.
Without any kind of filter, and then they get the pushback.
Because it's still dangerous, and I hate to say that, but it is still dangerous. But
almost like you found like a nice, steady, okay lane to live in.
Me personally, yes, because where I'm at and where I'm living and how I live and with my boyfriend, I mean, in the point and place where I live, I feel comfortable with what I can do and what I can get away with, and I know. That we can hold hands down the street if I wanted to, because we can if we are.
Yeah, and I hope that I hope society we continue to progress, and as the old guard goes down and when the newer comes in, and I hope tolerance is taught early on, and we're able to just kind of just chill.
Yeah.
Fucking relax. It's like let everyone just live the way they want to live, and like you said, it's like you should be able to hold your partner's hand. You should be able to hug.
Yeah, sexual orientation shouldn't matter, really. It shouldn't. It doesn't make me who I am. It doesn't define me as a person.
Right.
It's just a part of what I like or whatever.
Because the first thing that defines you is that you're an avid Pokemon hunter.
Exactly. Or that I love Star Wars. Or, exactly. Those are the key elements of me.
Dude, do you know that Star Wars Celebration is going to be in Anaheim next year?
I do, and now I'm like, whoa, because it's really close, and now I'm like, I need to buy tickets.
I know. I mean,
want to.
It's $900 for the Jedi Master Package. What is a Jedi Master Package?
I'm pretty sure that's like at least some VIP stuff. It's got to be VIP stuff. There's so many tiers to the type of their badges that they give out for everything. So if it's like the best one, that there's got to be some good stuff.
I better be shaking Mark Hamill's hand.
I mean, I need to see Palpatine. I mean, I need to know what's going on. That's what I need to know. I need to see a trailer. I need to hear some plot leaks. That's what I'm waiting for. I think that's what the next podcast should be about. Well, I'll do some leaks about Star Wars.
We definitely need to talk Star Wars. That has to be in like a 2-hour symposium with all Star Wars fans.
Yes.
Yeah, but
the rise and fall of everything Star Wars right now, because the fandom is in a uproar. Everything after The Last Jedi still. It's been a rough one for Star Wars as a franchise with Disney only.
And now with Carrie Fisher's passing, not able to go back and redo anything. Really, you can't go back and correct the mistakes of the past, unfortunately.
True,
so now it's done, and so we're kind of having to just live with it.
And we're gonna see what happens. I mean, they gotta end the saga some way. So we'll see.
Let's see if they can end it with a strong.
Can they bring it?
Well, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Well, Tony, thank you for sharing a little bit of time with me, and we'll be able to record this little interview for the podcast. I appreciate it.
I had a lot of fun. Yes, of course. Anything for the fans.
This was a great talk. I think he found it cathartic as I found it insightful, so it was win-win. It was a totally win-win. I loved it. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. And if you did, and if you know anyone who could benefit from listening to this podcast, please share. Help others find this show by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, as well as subscribing to the feed and following us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. you can always reach me on there, or you can easily email me at palaverproject@gmail.com. I'm always there. I'm always available to answer a question or two, and definitely will answer back to your comments on all forums. So please, let's make this podcast interactive. And if you guys have any ideas for the next couple of episodes, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. So, I just want to say thanks to Tony Rivera for the talk, and my kids Michael and Talia for helping me with the opening and the ad for the show. I hope you thought that was cute. I appreciate it so much. I love my kids, and I always, if I can include them in little pieces here and there in the podcast, just so they can, try out, have a creative outlet. I'm gonna let them do it. Just remember, guys, that words are never wasted. That is the tagline of this show. That is what makes conversation so great. These are not wasted conversations. They do have a point. I mean, they may seem random on the outside, but then inside, for the people who are within the conversation or those in the circle of conversation, I hope you take something out of it. I really do. I hope it made you smile, or it made you think, or I hope it stirs a reaction. If it does that, I'm doing something right. So, as remember, just words are never wasted. As long as they come from the heart and not from your ass. So, this is Michael Rivera. As you were.